How's it going, guys? Fearless Price here, and I know I haven't made a video in quite some time, dealing with issues, my own personal issues. As you can see, I did start working for Pepsi. I did leave my job at Target last year. I'll make a whole nother video about why I left, what happened there. But I just wanted to finally get back to answering some more questions that I have about Target. It's not necessarily gonna be so strict about answering questions about Target only. I'm willing to take any questions that I could help with interviews or just from my experiences being in retail management for the last 10 years. But any questions people for Pepsi, for merchandising, whether it be Coke, 7-Up, any kind of vendor merchandiser questions as well, I can answer those in any of my next videos. But I'm going to jump into some questions that I've gotten over the past few months, and I won't take too long to waste you guys' time. But it's just some questions that I've got. The first one here is from JC, and they ask, "What is best practice? Also, what are usual timelines for the early morning backroom process? Case pack, pallets, backstock, vehicles, etc." So if we're talking about the backroom early morning process, the best practice is pretty much different for each store. It depends on what kind of process that ETL logistics or that store manager kind of follows. But the best practice that, as far as I know, for if you're going to be in the back room, is you're always gonna pull your autofills according to how your flow team stocks. So if they start in market, you want to make sure that you pull market first, and then HBA if they go into HBA after that, C&D, etc. And it goes the same way as backstocking. So you want to backstock case packs and open stock from the truck according to which department they start in. So if your flow team starts in snacks, which they should, because it's food and it's priority and it's easy to get out of. So that if they start in foods, your backroom team needs to start pulling autofill in snacks and get it out there, get it pushed, get whatever backstock you can. Make sure the cases from the truck are done for market. I mean, you have to wave through the whole back room and put up all your case packs, but you want to make sure that you priorly stick to doing right behind what the flow team is doing. That way you can get that department completely done. So then when the in-stock team comes in, they can have that department completely pushed and completely backstocked, so there's no discrepancies of where product might be, if products got missed or whatever. So yeah, hope that answers that question. Next question is from Devonte Townsend, and they would like to know, well, this is more of a statement, I guess. "I would like to work for Target, but what are some good tool? I'm guessing, what are some good tools to be really for a job interview and waited to pass the job interview?" So you want to work for Target, but what are some good tools for a good job interview to pass the job interview? Okay, well, you want to dress for success. Obviously, you don't want to be overdressed because you definitely don't want to wear a tie. You don't, just dress casually, but just have a button up. I mean, for a guy. Yeah, but you don't want to overdress. You don't want to underdress, obviously. And then just answer the questions. Like, I mean, if you've looked at my last videos about interviews and such, those questions are almost, if you can answer those questions, then you should be able to answer the questions in a job interview at Target. And just be confident in what you're saying. Like, if they ask you a question like, "When's this time?" don't just say like, "Well, let me think." Like, you need to be ready to say it. You need to be ready to answer that question, answer it thoroughly, and just keep talking and talking and talking. Be confident in your answer, and then make them keep writing. You want them to keep writing. If they stop writing, they're just like looking at you and like, mm-hmm, right, yeah. That's not a good thing, because you want to keep them like, oh, okay, well, let me write all this down. Like, okay, oh yeah, okay. You want to be confident and know your answers. You want to know exactly, oh, this is the time when I did this and I did that, and this is how it went. Like, this was the problem. This was our what we needed to do, and this is how we did it, and that was the result of getting that done. So I hope that helps. This next question is from Force Warrior. I enjoyed your backroom videos, dude. I'm currently a team member for backroom. I went from truck unloader, P-Fresh, then to backroom, and they're having me be their mid. Are there any tips and tricks you could tell me about? I know how to pull backstock LSU and perform in stocks. They also want me to P-Fresh backstock. I'm looking into ways to avoid baffles. Alright, well, thank you for enjoying my videos. That's good. I mean, that just shows that you're very, very versatile. That the store team views you as an asset, and that's always a good thing. You always want to stand out. You always want to be the go-to guy. So anytime you can get cross-trained and work in different areas, that's always a huge thing. That's always a huge thing for any store, and not even just with Target, with any company. If they're having you be the mid, I think just for mids, you basically got to be able to pull cabs. You got to be able to pull cabs on time. You got to be able to keep the back room clean. You got to be able to answer those calls, take care of your fulfillments, without ETLs wondering if you're gonna get something done. You always want to have something done, so then when they ask, you're like, yeah, it's already done. You don't want anybody doubting your abilities, because ETLs can get on your ass about, oh, did you do this? Make sure you do this. Like, you already want to have that covered to where they don't even go back there. They don't even walk you. They don't even worry about you, because they know that you've got it locked down. If P-Fresh backstock is challenging if you don't, it's challenging because it's whoever comes in. If you're really good at backstocking P-Fresh, I mean, you cannot avoid other people messing it up for you. So it's hard, because that baffle will be on you if they don't pull correctly. I've had before where our CTL would just go back there after I backstocked, and they would just pull strawberries out without subtracting it, and then that baffle goes on me, it goes on to my team, and they didn't have a PDA, so they would just be like, oh, well, I'm gonna come back and pull it, but I just need it right now, so I'm gonna pull all these cases out, and then I'll come back and LSU it or something like that. That's where it gets all messed up. So you want to be on top of that. Make sure that you're updating it as much as you can, especially in the coolers, not the coolers, but the meat cooler and the produce. If you're looking to avoid baffles, I mean, just update as much as you possibly can. That's all I can. Just do empty location reports. Make sure your labels are clear, able to scan. Make sure your cases aren't behind each other, and make sure they're all organized and low and tight and easy to pull out. You don't want freezer stuff that's way up high and people just burn it because they don't want to reach for it and all that stuff. So just make sure everything's low and tight, clear, scannable label, nothing's behind each other, and it's updated as much as you possibly can. Like, if you're that good, you could be updating sections at a time every day. Like, okay, Mondays I'm going to update sections A through F, in the produce coolers or whatever it is. Just set that kind of goal for yourself, and that way you're always on top of that stuff. So, okay. So next question comes from Lee Yang. Can seasonal workers lead to a permanent job? Yes. It's kind of the seasonal area right now, so a lot of you might be have just gotten hired to be a seasonal worker, whether it be whatever position it is. But yes, it can, of course, lead to a permanent job. It's hard to say because it depends on the store, it depends on who you are, it depends on what kind of job it is. most likely if it's sales floor, you're not going to get a permanent job because sales floor is very booked as it is, and they just need a whole lot of people for seasonal just to stand there on the sales floor and do all this odd job stuff, fold this and put away these go backs, and they just need a lot of people there. But they already have a lot of people after the season's over, so most likely you won't get a permanent job if you're a sales floor, electronics, cashier, definitely cashier. So I mean, if you're in the logistics, if you're any kind of logistics, then yes, it can lead definitely to a permanent job. If you work hard enough, if you earn it, if you want it, if you fight for it. Like I've said before, you need to really just separate yourself. Like, always ask, what else can I do? Like if they say like, okay, I need you to do this, I'm on it. It's already done. Consider it done. I'll get it done in 5 minutes. You want it done in 4? I'll get it done in 4. Get it done, and then ask, hey, what else? Where else do you need me? What else do you need me to do? Get it done. If they ask you to stay, always stay. Don't be that guy that can never stay. Because obviously you're going to be working 4-hour shifts in the morning. For most of you, if you're float, don't be that guy to just be the one that can never stay. Times are tough in the logistics in the season, and you're going to need, as a team leader, we need more people to stay in a rough day. Don't be that guy to be like, well, I got to get out of here because I got this and that. Like, you got to show your loyalty. You got to be able to stay whenever they want you to stay. But then again, after the season's over, don't be hassling them about staying and all that stuff, because the hours are going to go down, But if you get picked to be a permanent employee, just do what you got to do. Don't cause any ruckus. Don't have any drama. Definitely don't have any safety issues. Don't cut yourself. Don't report things, because you can be fired for that, for being a liability. So just make sure you're on top of that stuff. But yeah, definitely it can lead to a permanent job in any store, in any job. This next question is from Chodkin. I like that name. Not really. I'll be a backroom team member, 25 to 30 hour a week. They asked me if I was okay with heights, lifting things, and working by myself. The background check is currently being performed. Any advice other than work hard and be competent? Well, congratulations. 25 to 30 hours a week is a huge deal for a backroom team member. Anything that you can get more than 15 hours a week at Target, that's good. You need to take that and be happy about it, and just make sure that that you're one of the few that might get more hours than most people. Some people work 4 hours a week, so that's good that you're getting those hours. Definitely, you got to be okay with heights, because if you're gonna be using the wave, if you're going to be up and down ladders all day, working by yourself, definitely you want to be trustworthy. Don't think about theft or anything like that, because you will be caught. But yeah, you're gonna be up and down ladders all day and bringing boxes up and down. It's challenging. I remember my first week, I was like blown away, like how much ladder. Especially because the first store I was at, they were high volume, so they had product all the way to the top, in every aisle, and it's not like a couple of other stores that I worked at where they're lower volume. They're not a low volume, but they don't have as much stock in the back room, so everything was able to be within reach. But this first store I was at, they had so much product and not a very good replenishment system that every aisle was just chock full of just backstock cases. So everything you're pulling is just, up and down the ladder, and it wears on you, and you just want to start chucking the boxes off the ladder. It gets so bad. But obviously you can't do that with certain products. You can do it with like pillows and stuff, but you're not supposed to do that, because you get fired for that, because it's safety and it's damaging product. But I think that anybody that knows what I'm talking about, like, yeah, you'll be definitely, your legs, your shoulders for sure from, just this movement all day. Especially even just working for Pepsi, it's the same thing. Just sodas all day. It gets very tiring, very painful, especially in your first couple weeks for backroom. So cool with that. Any advice other than working hard? Just be knowledgeable. Just ask questions. I mean, you can be a hard worker, but if you don't ask questions and try to get better, there's stores where I've been at where I've came and some of the backroom team members don't really know how to do a lot of the extra stuff, like printing backroom labels and pulling up location reports, pulling up just detail reports, learning how to pull decode. I mean, there's just so many things that you can learn, and I would be happy to answer those questions if somebody, hey, what's an empty location report? I can go into detail on all that stuff, what the true best practice is. I can do all that. It's just a matter if somebody wanted to ask me. I'm not going to just ramble on about that right now, but just ask questions. Just try to expand your knowledge. Just try to, separate yourself from everyone else. Next question comes from Abel S. I got a phone interview with one of the people from HR, and she told me that I would receive an email next week. What does this, or could this mean? What should I do? And then this next question is from Garcia. It's the same kind of question. I did a phone interview, and in the end, they said they will call me for a second interview. Will I get a call, or is that as they are not interested? All right, to answer both questions, if they let you, I'm not saying this 100%, but just from my experience, if I was to tell somebody, or even if I had the HR tell them, if I did that first interview, if I send them home that day, I most likely I'm not interested in them. Like for me personally, like when I would do a phone interview with somebody, or, well, they're both in this case phone interviews, because now all the Target does for the first interview is a phone interview. We don't do the face-to-face anymore for the first one. So for the most part, when I would finish my phone interview, and by the way, I've gotten some really bad phone interviews to where somebody's on the road and they're driving and I can't hear them, and it's just really bad, or it's like some ghetto baby mama answers like hello, it's just it's bad. You always make sure you're prepared for that stuff. Like if they say, hey, you're gonna get a phone call at 8 o'clock, be ready for it. Don't be on the road. Don't be in a situation where you can't focus on an interview, because if you're not ready at that time, I'm not going to want to call you back. I'm going to go, I got stuff to do. I have a back room that's packed. So I'll tell HR, they're going to have to call me back, and I'll have to set up another one for them, and that's not going to look good in my eyes. It's not going to look good in HR eyes, because they're like, oh, well, this isn't a priority for them. They don't want the job, obviously. So to answer the question, if they say they're going to send an email, emails are usually only sent to deny you and say, well, thank you for applying, and we appreciate, but unfortunately, you're not what we're looking for, and da-da-da-da-da. So no, if they said they're going to send you an email, it's a decline email. It's to say, thank you, but no, we found somebody else, or you're not what we're looking for. If they said they'll call you for a second interview, they might, but in my case, if I was ending that first interview, I would tell them okay, well, I kind of like what I heard, so I'm gonna go ahead and set up a second interview with you. What days can I schedule you a second interview this week? Because the HR would give me a certain amount of days, okay, you have 3 spots on these days to have a second interview with my boss. So I would plug those people in for them. So I would tell them okay, well, can you come in for a second interview on Wednesday at 9 a.m. and meet with so-and-so? And then they would be like, oh yeah, that's cool. So that's me personally. I don't know if everybody does that, but if I like what I hear and I'm okay, this person I want to see what they're all about, having a second interview, I will let them know right away. I'm not going to be well, okay, well, we'll call you. I only say that if I'm not interested. If I let them off the phone or I let them walk out the door, I'm not interested. You know, that's me personally. But for the most part, if you do receive an email, that's a no. If they say they're going to call you back for a second interview, that's like a 50-50 chance. But for me personally, like I would say, I would be more happy if I would be more confident if they said, "Oh, we're going to schedule you for a second interview" at the end of that first interview. So let me know, update me to know if you actually got the second interview or not. But yeah, okay. Last question is from Yoj Ulan. After my interview, I was offered a job in Target as flow team. I'm a woman, so what is mostly doing there in the back? I never have yet orientation. Orientation could take a couple weeks after you get hired. It could take 3 weeks. It's just a matter of getting, because they're not going to have an orientation just with you, where it's like, okay, this is orientation for you. They need to make sure all the hires that they're making are available on the same day and schedule it with HR and all that stuff. So it could take a couple weeks. Sometimes I've seen it take a month and a half, because they needed to make sure all the new hires were there at the same time. Flow team as a woman is very common. There's so many women in flow. You're not working in the back room, so don't have to, unless you're hired as a back room, but you said you got hired as flow. So it's very common. I mean, the women that I've seen work for flow are some of the hardest working, sometimes better than the men, because they want it more. They have more passion, especially like compared to like the young guys that come in there and just have an attitude and just don't have a very good work ethic. But a lot of the women I've seen have very good work ethic, and they're there for their family and they want to work, and they need the money, they need the hours. So what is mostly doing? Like, I mean, you're going to be stocking shelves. You'll be probably like folding towels. You're working soft lines, HBA, health and beauty. Just working with what you would think as stocking. You wouldn't be doing like the truck unload and stuff like that, but you could be working on the line, like taking stuff off conveyor belt and all that stuff. But it's a very, very doable job for a woman. I mean, it's like I would always prefer to hire women over men, and that's not me being sexist, but that's just what it is. Like if I see a young guy come in and I see a woman that I can tell that she has a lot of passion, she wants to work, I would most definitely hire that, because of the experiences I've had with young guys is that they're just there for a paycheck. They don't give a damn, which is unfortunate because there's not a lot of hardworking younger generations these days. There's exceptions, but for the most part, anybody that knows anything about management, they would know what I'm talking about. So I would like anybody that asks me these questions, please give me an update, how everything went. If my answering these questions helped you, if you have any more questions, and anybody that's watching, if you do have any questions at all regarding retail, stocking, flow, merchandise, backroom, Target, Pepsi, Coke, 7-Up, whatever, Sears, whatever it is regarding retail, logistics, interviews, personal questions, whatever, feel free to make sure you can email me at fearlessprice@gmail.com. You can obviously just comment in any video that you see of mine. Just comment and just be clear with your questions, because sometimes they're hard to read, and just make sure they're clear-cut questions and I will answer them. So like I said, I will be doing another video based on my experiences with Target and why I left, and then I'll do another video about Pepsi just in itself. Alright, so hope to see you guys next time. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you to all the subscribers that have subscribed for after the fact that I stopped making videos about 8 months ago. So I just wanted to thank everybody that started to subscribe, the people that are commenting. That means a lot to me. I never thought I would have more than 5 subscribers, and that being my own family. So I'm glad that I can help anybody that has questions. But feel free to let me know any questions you have, and I'll see you guys next time.